Mina ran out of the narrow lane with her breath catching in her throat. Her small hands were shaking as she pushed past a broken gate. The morning air felt cold on her wet cheeks. She did not look back because she was afraid of what she might see. Her feet hit the road hard, and her sandals slapped the dust. She kept running because her heart told her she had only one chance. She had no plan, but she had one strong thought in her mind. She needed help right now. Across the street, she saw a police car near a tea stall. Officer Ravi stood beside it, speaking calmly to an old man. Ravi was not tall, but he carried a quiet strength. His uniform was neat, and his eyes were watchful. Beside him sat Kiro, the police dog, with steady posture. Kiro looked relaxed, but his focus never drifted far. Mina ran straight toward them like a leaf pulled by the wind. Her voice came out thin and broken as she tried to speak. She grabbed Ravi's sleeve with both hands and looked up at him through tears. Ravi stopped talking at once and turned fully toward her. He lowered himself to her height and kept his voice gentle. He asked her name in a calm tone. Mina said her name and tried to breathe, but the words stuck. She pointed back toward the lane with a trembling finger. She said that someone was hurting her mother at home. She said she was scared and she did not know what to do. Ravi did not ask for many details because he could see panic in her face. He nodded slowly and told her she had done the right thing by coming to him. Kiro stood up and moved a little closer, as if he understood the meaning in her shaking voice. The dog did not jump or bark, and he did not frighten her. He simply walked to her side and sat down again, steady and quiet. Mina looked at Kiro's eyes and felt a small piece of safety return. Ravi placed one hand lightly on Mina's shoulder. He told her to stay close and not to run ahead. He signaled to his partner, Officer Salim, who was nearby. Salim moved quickly toward the car and opened the back door to get ready. Ravi asked Mina to show them the way. Mina started walking fast, then slowed because Ravi stayed beside her. Kiro walked on the other side, matching her pace like a guard. The lane ahead looked tight and crowded with old walls and hanging wires. People in the area watched from doorways and windows. Some faces were curious, and some looked away too quickly. Mina kept her eyes down because she felt everyone could hear her fear. Ravi watched the lane and listened for any sounds that did not belong. Salim stayed a few steps behind, ready to act if needed. As they turned into the lane, Mina's breathing became shallow again. Her fingers curled into Ravi's sleeve as if it was a rope keeping her from falling. The smell of smoke and damp brick filled the air. A stray cat crossed their path and vanished under a cart. Mina's home was a small house with a metal door and a cracked step. The paint on the wall was faded, and the window had a loose curtain. The closer they came, the more Mina's shoulders rose with tension. A loud voice came from inside, sharp and angry. Another voice answered, softer and tired. Ravi raised one hand for Mina to stop. He stepped forward slowly and placed himself between Mina and the door. Kiro's posture changed, and his body became still and ready. Salim moved to Ravi's side, keeping a safe angle. Ravi knocked on the door with firm control. The voices inside paused for a moment. Ravi spoke clearly and announced that the police were there. He told the people inside to open the door and step back. The silence that followed felt heavy like a stone. The door opened a little, and a man's face appeared. His eyes moved quickly from Ravi's badge to the dog beside him. He tried to speak, but Ravi kept his tone steady and direct. Ravi told him to open the door fully and keep his hands visible. The man hesitated, then obeyed. When the door opened, Ravi saw Mina's mother, Asha, standing near the wall. Asha's face looked pale and tired, and her hands were pressed tightly together. She did not speak at first, as if her voice had been locked away. Mina made a small sound and tried to rush forward. Ravi gently held her back with a protective arm. Kiro stepped into the doorway first, calm but firm. He did not rush or threaten, but he took a position that created space. The man who opened the door shifted his weight, unsure of what to do. Another man stood near a table, his jaw tight with anger. Ravi spoke again, telling both men to step away from Asha and toward the front. Salim guided them toward the entrance area while keeping his eyes on their hands. The men complained in loud words, but Ravi did not react with anger. His control made the room feel less dangerous. Asha looked at Ravi with eyes that held fear and relief at the same time. Meena stayed near the door, shaking, with Ravi's hand still steady on her shoulder. Ravi told Meena that she was safe and that he would handle the situation. He asked Salim to speak with the men outside for a moment. Salim guided them out while Ravi stayed inside with Asha and Meena. Kiro remained in the room, positioned between Asha and the doorway. The dog's steady presence made the air feel different. Asha slowly lowered herself onto a chair, her knees weak. She kept looking at Meena as if she could not believe her child had brought help. Meena's tears returned, but this time they carried relief. Ravi spoke to Asha in a respectful tone and asked if she needed medical help. Asha shook her head slowly, then nodded a little, as if unsure how to answer. Ravi told her that help could come in many forms, and she did not have to face anything alone. Asha's hands trembled as she tried to speak. She said that things had been getting worse for a long time. She said she had stayed quiet because she feared trouble and shame. She said she did not want Meena to be scared. Ravi listened without judgment and gave her time to find her words. Meena moved closer to her mother and held her hand tightly. Asha squeezed Meena's fingers, and a small sound escaped her throat like a broken sigh. Kiro walked closer and sat near Meena, not touching her, just present. Meena looked at Kiro again and felt less alone. Ravi told Asha that they would make sure the situation was handled safely. He explained that there were steps and services to support her. He told her that her child's courage had created a turning point. Asha looked down and then looked up, as if she was seeing a door open in her life for the first time. Outside, Salim continued speaking with the men in a controlled way. The voices were still loud, but they were farther now. Ravi stayed focused on keeping Meena and Asha calm. He asked Asha if there was a trusted neighbor or family member to call. Asha mentioned an aunt who lived nearby. Ravi asked for the address and said they could contact her. Meena leaned into her mother, listening to Ravi's voice as if it was a blanket. Kiro remained steady, ears moving slightly as he monitored sounds beyond the door. Asha finally reached out and touched Meena's hair with gentle fingers. She whispered that Meena was brave, and Meena's shoulders shook again. Meena said she only wanted her mother to be safe. Ravi felt a tight ache in his chest, but he kept his face calm. He told Meena she had done exactly what a smart and brave child should do. He told her that asking for help was a kind of strength. Kiro shifted a little closer to Meena, and Meena rested her hand on his fur. The simple warmth of the dog's coat made her breathe deeper. The morning that started with fear began to change shape. The room still held tension, but it also held a new kind of light. Asha's eyes were still wet, but they no longer looked empty. Meena's crying slowed into soft breaths. Ravi prepared to take the next steps carefully and correctly. He knew this was not just one moment, but the start of a safer path. Kiro stayed in place, loyal and calm, as if he was promising to stand guard for as long as needed. And Meena, the little girl who had run for help, finally felt that her voice had been heard. The house felt quieter after the men were taken outside. The air still carried tension, but it was no longer sharp. Asha sat on the chair with her back straight, trying to steady her breathing. Meena stayed close to her side, holding her hand like it was the only solid thing in the room. Ravi remained nearby, calm and watchful, making sure they both felt safe. Kiro stayed seated near the doorway, his presence firm and reassuring. Asha slowly began to speak about her life. Her voice was low, but each word carried weight. She explained how problems had grown over time and how fear had kept her silent. She said she worried every day about Meena and the kind of world she was growing up in. Ravi listened without interrupting, giving her space to say what she needed. He nodded gently, showing that her words mattered. Meena looked up at her mother with wide eyes, hearing things she had never fully understood before. Outside, Salim handled the situation carefully. The men were no longer shouting, and their voices had dropped into uneasy tones. Neighbors watched from a distance, whispering among themselves. Some felt regret for not stepping in earlier. Others felt relief that help had finally arrived. Salim spoke firmly but respectfully, making sure everything stayed controlled. The street slowly returned to a calmer state. Inside, Ravi explained the next steps to Asha. He spoke about protection and support, using simple words so nothing felt confusing. He told her that she and Meena would not be left alone after today. Asha listened closely, nodding as she wiped her eyes. For the first time in a long while, she felt like someone was standing beside her instead of watching from afar. Meena squeezed her hand, feeling hope begin to grow. Kiro shifted slightly and laid down, still facing the door. Meena noticed how still and patient he was. She reached out and gently touched his fur. The texture was warm and calming under her fingers. She smiled faintly, a small but important change. Ravi noticed this and felt relieved. He knew that children often trusted animals before words. Asha asked Ravi if Meena would have to leave her. The fear in her voice was clear. Ravi reassured her gently, telling her that keeping families safe together was always the first goal. He explained that help did not mean separation. Asha's shoulders relaxed slightly, and she let out a breath she had been holding. Meena leaned into her mother, feeling comforted by the promise. Soon, a woman from a local support team arrived. Her name was Noor, and her expression was kind and patient. She spoke softly to Asha and introduced herself to Meena. Noor explained her role in simple terms and assured them both that she was there to help. Meena listened quietly, staying close to Kiro and her mother. The presence of another calm adult made the room feel lighter. Noor sat beside Asha and asked gentle questions. She did not rush or pressure her. Asha answered slowly, choosing her words carefully. Ravi stayed nearby, making sure everything remained steady. Meena watched Noor closely, noticing how she spoke with care. It made Meena feel like the world was not as harsh as it sometimes seemed. As time passed, the sun moved higher, and light streamed through the window. The room looked different under the brighter glow. Ravi noticed the small details, like a cracked cup on the table and a folded cloth on the chair. These were signs of a normal life that had been overshadowed by fear. He hoped that today would be the start of change. Salim returned inside and gave Ravi a quiet update. Ravi nodded and thanked him. The situation outside was under control. Ravi turned back to Asha and Meena and told them that things were being handled. Asha felt a wave of relief wash over her. Meena felt proud of herself, even if she did not fully understand why. Noor spoke about temporary arrangements and longer plans. She mentioned counseling and community support. She explained that help would continue beyond today. Asha listened carefully, realizing that this was not just a moment of rescue but a chance for a better future. Meena imagined days without fear and nights without loud voices. The thought made her heart feel lighter. Kiro stood up and stretched, then walked closer to Meena. He sat beside her again, calm and protective. Meena smiled more clearly now and whispered something to him. Ravi watched this and felt a quiet sense of purpose. He knew that sometimes the smallest gestures made the biggest difference. Asha looked at Meena and thanked her softly. She said that her daughter's courage had changed everything. Meena shook her head and said she just wanted her mama safe. The simplicity of her words touched everyone in the room. Ravi felt a deep respect for the strength hidden inside such a small child. Noor prepared to leave for a short while to arrange further support. She promised to return soon. Ravi told Asha that he would stay until everything was settled. Asha nodded gratefully. Meena leaned against her mother, feeling tired but safe. The fear that had once filled her chest was slowly fading. As the afternoon approached, the house felt different. It was not perfect, but it was calm. Ravi looked around and felt hopeful. He knew challenges would remain, but he also knew that courage had already opened the door to change. Kiro remained alert but relaxed, ready to protect if needed. Meena closed her eyes for a moment, resting her head against her mother. She felt warmth and safety surround her. Asha held her close, promising herself that things would be different now. Ravi stood quietly, guarding the peace that had begun to settle. And in that small house, a new chapter slowly started to form. The next morning arrived with a softer kind of silence in Asha's house. The same walls were there, and the same small table stood near the window, but the feeling inside had changed. Asha woke up before sunrise and sat for a while without moving. She listened to Mina's quiet breathing and felt thankful for that simple sound. Mina slept curled like a small kitten, her hand still holding the edge of her blanket. Kiro was not inside the house now, but Mina spoke about him as if he was still guarding the door. Noor returned early with warm tea and a calm smile. She brought a small folder of papers and a list written in clear words. She explained that today was about planning and steady steps. She told Asha that fear becomes smaller when a person has support and structure. Asha nodded slowly, still nervous, but ready to try. Mina sat on the floor and played with a small toy, yet she listened to every word like it mattered. Asha watched her daughter and promised herself to stay strong, even if her hands still trembled sometimes. Ravi arrived soon after, not as a sudden rescuer this time, but as a steady protector. He greeted Asha with respect and spoke to Mina gently. Mina smiled when she saw him and asked about Kiro right away. Ravi told her Kiro was healthy and working, and that he would visit later. Mina's eyes brightened, and she hugged her toy tighter. Ravi looked at Asha and reminded her that she was not alone anymore. Asha took a deep breath and finally believed it a little more. Noor suggested a safe place for Asha and Mina to stay for a short while. She explained it would give Asha space to think and rest. Asha felt worried about leaving her home, even for a little time. Ravi explained that safety and calm were the priority right now. He spoke slowly and clearly, so nothing sounded like a threat or a rush. Asha agreed, but her voice shook as she did. Mina looked around the room and asked if they would come back. Asha told her they would, and that this was only a step toward a better start. They packed simple things in a small bag. Asha folded clothes with careful hands and placed Mina's school items on top. Mina held her favorite book like it was a treasure. Noor checked the bag gently and asked if Asha needed anything else. Asha looked around and realized she did not need much to begin again. She only needed her child safe beside her. That thought gave her a bit of courage. When they stepped outside, the lane looked brighter under the morning sun. A few neighbors watched quietly from their doors. Some faces looked guilty, and some looked curious, and a few looked kind. One older woman stepped forward with a bowl of fruit. She offered it to Mina with a soft smile. Mina hesitated, then accepted it and whispered a small thank you. Asha's eyes filled with tears again, but this time the tears were not only fear. She realized that silence from others was not always cruelty, but often confusion and fear of getting involved. She also realized that change could teach people how to be better. Asha and Mina traveled with Noor to a small community support home nearby. The place was simple, clean, and calm. The staff spoke gently and showed them a small room with 2 beds. Mina touched the bedsheets and said they smelled like soap. Asha sat on the edge of the bed and finally let her shoulders drop. Noor explained daily routines and support sessions in clear basic words. Mina listened, then asked if she could still go to school. Noor told her yes, and Mina smiled like a door had opened. That afternoon, Noor helped Asha make a few phone calls. Asha contacted her aunt, who lived a short distance away. The aunt arrived with worry on her face and relief in her eyes. She hugged Asha for a long time without speaking. Mina stood close and watched the 2 women hold on to each other. The aunt touched Mina's cheek and told her she was brave. Mina did not know what to say, so she just nodded. Asha felt warmth in her chest, because family support was something she had missed for too long. Ravi visited later with Salim and Kiro. Mina ran toward Kiro the moment she saw him. She hugged him carefully, and Kiro stayed calm and steady, as if he understood that she needed that moment. Ravi watched and felt proud of the dog's gentle nature. Salim smiled and told Mina that Kiro was a very smart partner. Mina asked if Kiro could stay with them forever. Ravi explained that Kiro belonged to the police team, but he promised Mina that she could see him again. Mina accepted that promise like it was a gift. Over the next few days, Asha began to attend support sessions with Noor. Noor helped her speak about her worries without shame. Asha learned how to make safety plans and how to ask for help early. She also learned that strong people still need support sometimes. Mina went back to school, and she started sleeping better at night. Her teachers noticed she was quieter in class, but also more focused. One teacher gave her a small notebook and told her to write her feelings as stories. Mina started writing about a brave dog who stood like a wall of safety. Ravi checked in regularly and made sure the support plan stayed active. He spoke with Asha about practical steps, like documents, school schedules, and trusted contacts. Asha felt embarrassed at first, because she did not like needing help. Ravi reminded her that accepting help is not weakness. He told her it is a way to protect the future. Asha slowly started to believe him. She began to walk with her head a little higher. One evening, as Asha and Mina returned from school and a small grocery trip, Mina noticed a boy near the gate staring at them. The boy looked about Mina's age, and he held a cheap toy car. He did not smile, but he did not look mean either. He just looked uncertain, like he wanted to speak but did not know how. Mina held her mother's hand tighter. Asha noticed the boy and felt her stomach tighten. She guided Mina inside calmly and closed the door. Later that night, Noor came by with an update and a gentle warning. She said that big changes can create reactions in the community. She explained that some people might talk, and some might test boundaries. Asha felt nervous again, but Noor reminded her that the plan included support and protection. Ravi also called and told Asha that she should report anything that made her uncomfortable. Asha thanked him and promised she would not stay silent again. Mina listened from the bed and hugged her book closer. The next morning, Mina saw the same boy again near the gate. This time he placed a small folded paper on the ground and stepped back. Then he ran away down the lane. Mina looked at her mother and asked if she could pick it up. Asha hesitated, then nodded. Mina picked up the paper with careful fingers and brought it inside. Asha unfolded it slowly and read the words in simple handwriting. Her face changed as she finished the last line. Mina looked up, confused and worried, because her mother suddenly looked like she had seen something unexpected. Asha held the paper tightly and whispered that they needed to tell Ravi right away. Asha did not waste time after reading the paper. She folded it carefully and placed it in her bag. Her hands were steady, but her heart was not. Mina watched her mother closely and felt the shift in the air. She asked if something bad was happening again. Asha knelt down and looked into Mina's eyes. She told her that nothing bad had happened yet, but being careful was important. Mina nodded and trusted her mother's calm voice. Asha called Ravi and explained everything in simple words. Ravi listened carefully and asked her to stay where she was. He told her that he would arrive soon and that she had done the right thing by reporting it. Asha felt relief wash over her again. She remembered how silence had once trapped her. She promised herself she would never go back to that place. Mina sat beside her and held her hand, sensing the seriousness without fully understanding it. Ravi arrived with Salim later that afternoon. Kiro was with them, walking calmly but alert. Mina felt safe the moment she saw the dog again. Ravi asked Asha to show him the paper. He read it slowly and then folded it back. His face stayed calm, but his eyes showed focus. He told Asha that sometimes people feel uncomfortable when others choose change. He explained that this kind of note did not mean danger, but it did mean attention was needed. Ravi spoke to the staff at the community home and explained the situation. They agreed to increase watch and support. Asha felt supported by how quickly everyone worked together. Mina watched Kiro sit near the door again like before. She smiled softly, remembering the day she ran for help. Ravi knelt beside Mina and asked how she was feeling. Mina said she was not scared like before. She said she knew what to do now. Later that evening, Noor joined them and talked with Asha for a long time. She helped Asha understand that fear can return even when danger is gone. She explained that healing does not happen in a straight line. Asha listened carefully and felt less ashamed of her worry. She realized strength also means asking questions and staying alert. Mina listened quietly from the bed, pretending to read but hearing every word. The next few days passed without trouble. Mina went to school and came back smiling. Asha attended her sessions and learned more about confidence and boundaries. She practiced speaking clearly and standing firm. Ravi checked in regularly and made sure everything stayed calm. Kiro visited once more, and Mina laughed when he gently nudged her shoe with his nose. That sound of laughter felt like a victory. One afternoon, Asha decided to walk with Mina to the nearby park. It was a small park with 2 benches and a dusty swing. Mina ran ahead carefully, her laughter light. Asha watched her and felt a deep sense of peace. She realized she had not felt this kind of calm in years. She sat on the bench and let the sun warm her face. Other parents sat nearby, watching their children play. Mina noticed the same boy from before standing near the gate again. This time he did not run. He stood still, holding his toy car tightly. Mina looked at her mother. Asha felt her heart beat faster but remembered her training. She stayed calm and walked with Mina toward the boy. She asked him gently if he needed something. The boy looked down and said he was sorry for the note. He said he was told to deliver it and did not understand why. Asha listened quietly and thanked him for telling the truth. She told him it was good that he spoke honestly. Ravi was informed about the meeting later that day. He thanked Asha for handling it calmly and responsibly. He explained that the situation was now clear and no further concern remained. Asha felt proud of herself. She had faced a moment of fear without running or freezing. Mina hugged her and said she was proud too. Ravi smiled and said both of them were brave in their own way. As weeks passed, Asha began preparing to return to her home. The support team helped her clean and rearrange the space. They changed small things that made a big difference. The house no longer felt heavy. It felt like a place where healing could continue. Mina walked through the rooms and said it felt brighter. Asha agreed and felt hopeful. On the day they moved back, Ravi and Noor visited one last time together. Kiro stayed near the door, watching everything like a quiet guardian. Asha thanked Ravi and Noor with tears in her eyes. She said she would never forget how they helped her find her voice. Ravi told her that the strength was always inside her. Noor reminded her that support would always remain available. Mina hugged Kiro one last time before he left. She whispered that she would remember him forever. Kiro stayed still and calm, as if he understood the promise. Ravi watched the moment and felt a quiet pride. He knew that this was why he chose his job. Not for praise, but for moments like this. That evening, Asha and Mina sat together near the window. The sky outside was soft and golden. Mina asked her mother if bad days could come back. Asha answered honestly and said that life always brings challenges. She also said that now they knew how to face them. Mina nodded and rested her head on her mother's shoulder. The street outside returned to its normal sounds. People walked, children played, and life continued. But inside that small home, something had changed forever. Asha had learned to stand without fear. Mina had learned that her voice mattered. And the lesson stayed clear and strong. Courage can begin with one small step toward help.